Welcome to Extraterrestrial Reality. It's a great feeling knowing that you're completely right and on the right side of history when it comes to the UFO topic. It's a great, absolute, wonderful feeling. It's really, in a way, I feel sad for the people who are the skeptics and the debunkers and the naysayers. They're wrong. They're just totally wrong, and I know that I'm totally right. I would bet my life on it. And it's a great feeling. Like, I feel like I have an advantage over these people. Like, I know that I'm smarter when it comes to this. I know that there's something here, that there's a presence here, a non-human intelligence is among us. There's no question about it. And these people who are this constant bickering you see all over Twitter, Reddit, wondering if it's true or not and all this kind of stuff, right? It's all those people who are wondering and the people who are actively trying to diss this whole thing, they're wrong. And it's great. I know that they're wrong. I mean, basically, if this was a game of 5-card poker, draw poker, right? I'd actually have a royal flush in my hands right now. I'm holding royal flush, and the best that anybody else has, right? The people on the other side of this question, right? They got a 7 or 8 high at best. Nothing, no pair, not even a pair, nothing. They're losing. They're going to lose in the end, right? There's no question about it that the people in the UFO community who realize and know that there's something here, that all of this stuff is not fantasy, those people are right. If you're on that side, right, then you are on the right side of history. The rest of the people are not. Now, of course, there are some people who are government insiders or members of the military-industrial complex. There's a few of these people. I don't know. We don't know what the number is. We'll say a few thousand, right? Who know things, but deny it, and they know that there's people out there like me and many others, millions of others, who know that they're holding back something, that they're lying, that every time they step up to a podium, they're not telling the truth on the subject of UFOs, for the most part. But again, it's a great feeling, and I love being in this position. It's like a position of power. And everyone who's in this position should feel this, and you should feel like there's you have more information than these people. These people are like, could you imagine, like, there was a time on this planet where people did believe the world was flat, and as it moved, as that belief system changed and said, no, we're going to the world is round, right? Some other people are saying, no, it can't be, it has to be round. But there were still some hangers on that the world was flat, right? Right now, these skeptics and debunkers, they're like the hangers on who back in the day saying that the earth is still flat. That's what's going on here. There's something here. There's no question about it. And I love the fact that I'm in the position, I'm on the right side of this. And I know it for a fact. I mean, I just know it. It's not just based on research. I mean, I have the benefit, and there's millions of other people out there like me who have the benefit of seeing actual first-hand evidence presented to them by these beings themselves. There's just no question about it. I've seen it. I know for a fact. So when I see people online, debunkers, skeptics, people wondering whether maybe there's no cover-up and all this kind of stuff, right? It's like, wow, they're dumb in my mind. They're just dumb, and I maybe I'm wrong to think that, right? But I can't help it because they are, in my viewpoint. I mean, it's sad to say that. I mean, it's not nice to be calling people, yeah, you're dumb. Well, I'm sorry, but they are. I mean, there's as far as I'm concerned, I know and that's one of the issues. Probably my main issue is probably the fact that I benefit from those personal experiences, and a lot of people out there don't have that. They didn't have that, and maybe that's unfair on my behalf to act like this. So I know that they're wrong, and it's in a way it's an empowering feeling, to know that I'm right and they're wrong. Like, I know at some point that in the future, like these cocky debunkers who were all over Twitter thinking that they're intelligent and smart. It's so funny. I'm sitting here looking at it, and it's like, you're wrong. You're dumb. You're stupid. I mean, I talk a lot about. There's different YouTube channels out there that I really appreciate. Eyes on Cinema, UFOB. Those two channels, and I'll leave links. I'm going to leave links for some of these channels I'm going to mention. They just have a constant parade of all the time. They are always updating. There's all these little segments of different people over many decades talking about their experiences with these things, with these craft and or beings. Preston Dennett, he has a YouTube channel. He does pretty well, but he should be. I can't believe he should have more followers because his stuff is very interesting. He presents once a week. He has a couple different kinds of shows on, but the one show that I really look forward to every week is his show where he's talking about different cases, like 10 humanoid cases, or people encounter alien beings face to face, or it's just all the time. There's so many different people that have. And he presents the newspaper articles from when these things happened. I mean, this was all over different decades, all different years. It's been going on a long time. Are all these cases, are they real? Or some of them possibly something that could be explained as prosaic? Are some of these things just mundane? Possibly. Some of them are, but not all of them are. There's no way. And you know how I know that? Because I had my own personal experiences, right? So I know. Right, there are two guaranteed experiences that are no question in my mind were related to extraterrestrials / non-human intelligences. Okay, and then there was a third one that is a good strong maybe, but the two that for sure, right? The two that for sure were the being where I was a kid and there was a being in the room, somehow was able to conk everyone else out in the house, right? A household of 7 people. Well. Actually, 6 people. My little sister, I don't believe she was born yet. Conk everyone out in the whole household somehow. I mean, and there's some sort of electronic humming sound, that I heard during this whole experience, 20-minute long experience. Took me over 10 years to figure out that it was extraterrestrial. I thought it was a devil, But yeah. It was real. I mean, I've seen these beings. I've encountered one of these things. It was not human, whatever it was. And then, of course, I've talked about many times in 1994, I had an encounter with a UFO during a nighttime fishing trip with a friend. And 2 of us saw it. It wasn't just me. It was somebody else was there. We both saw this thing. It made no sound. It was hovering big as a house, 3 giant bright lights on it, hovering 2.5 stories off the ground. I was within 20 feet of this thing. Made no sound at all. Moved in ways that our aircraft cannot move. Incredible to see. But I walked away from all of that, knowing, with knowledge, like this is real. This what other people have been talking about. They're not making it up. A lot of these people are telling you the truth. Of course, I'm sure that there are some hoaxers thrown in there here and there throughout the decades, right? But for the most part, no. They're telling the truth. I saw it with my own eyes, so I know. I'm sitting from a position where I know for a fact. I'm holding a royal flush in my hand. The skeptic across from me has a 7 or 8 high in a game of draw poker, if that's what this was. If anybody wants to bet with me, I'm going to win that bet. I'll win that bet because I know I'm 100% positive of this. And it's just amusing to sit back and see all this stuff. And I mean, it's amusing. It's upsetting too. I mean, to see this stupidity, because I call it stupidity. I don't know what else to call it. I mean, has been enough research done out there. There are enough books out there that you could read, that people could pick up and check out if they wanted to. But they don't do it. They just don't. They're lazy. They're lazy. Case in point, just recently, we had Ken Klippenstein of The Intercept write that hit piece against David Grush. Now, Ken Klippenstein doesn't believe in UFOs. That's what he said. He doesn't believe in UFOs. He never even studied it. It's not a matter of belief. I mean, it's real, though. I mean, who cares? I mean, what you believe doesn't really matter. It's just the truth. The truth is that there is something here. It doesn't matter. I mean, you're just, I don't believe it. Well, that doesn't mean that you're right, though. You're not. You've never studied this. This guy was picked, basically chosen by people within the government and the intelligence community and the Department of Defense, just like Ken Klippenstein said, to write a hit piece. He was picked because those people, I would imagine that some of these people that contacted him do know the truth, and they just wanted to drag Grush through the ground, drag his name through the mud, to make it harder for other whistleblowers to step up and tell Congress what they know. That's what's going on here. That's what's going on here. Yeah, it's real. I mean, again, it's a great position to be in when I know I'm right. Like in the final analysis, right? When this is all said and done, people like me, and there's a lot of them, right, who know this for a fact that there's something going on here. They know for a fact, right, that there's a presence here that's not human, that has technology that exceeds anything that we have. And I know how you feel, because I feel the same way. It's like you look at this and you hear this, and it's just we're debating something that we need to accept it already. It's time to accept it, because it's real, right? It's real. There's just no question about it. I mean, all of these stories over the years, all these different people, all of them aren't lying, right? These stories that have come out. There's most certainly a cover-up. There's been enough research done. In fact, I was just checking out one of the classics here. Look at this book, Above Top Secret, Timothy Good. I was just reading through this here recently. What a great book. But I mean, people like that in the mainstream media, they don't read books like that. They don't educate themselves on this subject. They don't understand that there truly is a cover-up. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt. I mean, there was all these people in Roswell. We could always start with that. All these people that talked about what happened, and you have nothing basically from the side of the Air Force. All you have are words with no real evidence really to back anything up that the Air Force to back up the Air Force's assertion that this is just a balloon, and the bodies that people saw were anthropomorphic dummies that were dropped years later from the sky from high altitudes. It's all nonsense. That's a lie. The Air Force lied. They lied on the 50th anniversary of Roswell when they talked about those dummies. That was a lie. They stepped up to a podium. They told the press about this, and that was a lie. They lied. They've been lying. They've always been lying about this. There's a lot of them are still lying. Some people within the government do seem to want to get this out, but the control group is fighting to prevent this from getting out. We don't know exactly what the reason is. I suspect it has to do with the reverse engineering aspects to this. Some people tell me that they think it's because of the fear that it's going to cause on a lot of people. But again, I don't understand. It doesn't matter what kind of. Well, so what? I mean, that's the reality of the situation is there's something here. People should know. They should understand. Right? They need to understand that there's something here. The scientific community, particularly, which for a vast majority of people within the scientific community for decades have stayed away from this, steered clear of this. Now, how are we going to ever learn anything about these visitors if the scientific community is told that it's all nonsense, and if they try to study it, well, we're going to stigmatize you and maybe your career will be ruined. Now, some people don't care. Like, for instance, Gary Nolan, he doesn't care. And I'll tell you why. I believe one of the reasons that Gary Nolan doesn't care is because he feels the same way I do. He knows there's something here. He's had his own experiences. So it's like, it's a feeling of, again, it's like, it's a feeling of empowerment, right? These people are stupid. They're not getting it. The information's there for them to study and to research and to, and at the end of it all, they would be able to finally come to a conclusion. And there is only one conclusion. Not only has there been a cover-up, but there's something here, and they're up to something, right? Some of them, at least some of them are. Some of them could just be visiting here. There's all different kinds of creatures that people have seen. Of course, there's the predominant ones, right, that seem to be regulars in the abductions, right? But there's other kinds. There's all sorts. We don't know. There could be. We just don't have any clue how there could be millions of different things coming here on a regular basis, just checking us out and then going on their merry way. I mean, that's what it could be. Who cares what they're up to, what they're doing? If they're going to destroy us, they could have done it a long time ago. If they're taking us over, right, somehow through some hybridization program, okay, what are you going to do? There's nothing you can do about it. So what? That's just the way it is. It's reality. It's the reality of the situation. But again, if the scientific community would have been brought in on this a long time ago, we would have studies and research, and we could have had more answers by this point. But because of this cover-up and the stigmatization program, we don't have that really. We're just starting to try to get to that point. But we still have these hangers-on, these people who are flat earthers, and they don't want to give that up. They want to stay in the past. They don't want to move forward. And it's just so funny. It's so funny. At some point in the future, I'm going to be proven right for sure to everyone in the world. Everyone in the world is going to know that people like me are telling the truth, that there is some sort of presence here, and that all these other people are stupid. And people are going to realize that at some point in the future. There's just no doubt about it. It's coming. There's no question. I saw these things. I know for a fact. Now, recently I received some comments on YouTube. I received a lot of comments on YouTube and Spotify all the time. But there were some people that gave me a comment. I received a comment here from Mark, and this was for my latest episode where I was talking about the episode where I was talking about Grush and how how Ken Klippenstein of The Intercept had admitted that he was sicked onto Grush by people in the government. And one of the comments was from somebody named Mark. It says, "I tend to trust Grush, but calling Klippenstein an idiot over and over is unnecessary. He sounds intelligent to me. He probably is being used by the Pentagon to discredit Grush, but still he sounds smart to me." Yeah, and that's a good point. It does sound terrible. I know it does. I mean, I'm using words here that in a way sometimes I walk away from this and I feel somewhat, maybe that was too harsh. But then I always think to myself, well, wait, for decades and decades and decades, people who have experienced these things have been referred to as crackpots, junkies, drunks, maniacs, all kinds of stuff. Funny in the head, all kinds of different kinds of really bad, stigmatizing words used against people. And it's just, I'm at a point here where actually, no, this whole time, no. It was these people who were saying these things. They're the ones. They need to hear this. They need to be told that they're idiots and dumbbells and scumbags, because it's going to wake them up finally. Maybe. I don't know. Something has to, because nothing else has to this point. It's like I'm trying to ring. You're ringing a bell here. Ding, 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 ding. No, this is real. Ding, 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 ding. You're wrong. Ding, ding, ding. I'm trying to get their attention. Maybe it might. Maybe for some of them it might. Right? No, this is really happening. It's really real. There's no question about it. Anyway, I responded to Mark, and I do appreciate the comment, Mark. It's a great point. It does sound. It's terrible. It is terrible. I don't like having to talk like this, but I don't know what else to say. I mean, because he is an idiot. He doesn't. Klippenstein hasn't studied this. He doesn't believe in UFOs. Again, to me, when I hear someone say it, I don't believe in this, right? I don't believe that there's aliens possibly here. It's not, to me, it's like, well, but you're saying you don't believe in reality then. That's how I feel. I really feel this, like, because I know, because I've had my own experiences. But I responded to him, I said, I have to respectfully disagree with you. When it comes to UFOs, Klippenstein is an idiot. I don't care if he sounds smart. In my book, he's an idiot. That's where I'm at with it. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's just how it is, and that's how it's going to be with the way I'm going to handle this. I've talked about this. I know I've talked about this before. And then I received another comment from Elam Sign 706. He says, I know we don't like how this guy conducted himself, but this talk of revealing sources is bad. Makes me think of Matt Taibbi and Michael Schellenberger during the Twitter files and talking about protection of sources. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. That's a great point. It really is. Thank you for that comment. Now, he's basically what he's saying here, like, because during that previous podcast where I was talking about this, we learned through the Liberation Times, Christopher Sharp, that Sharp had contacted the Loudoun County, Virginia Sheriff's Department to find out what this documentation that Ken Klippenstein, what did he receive through this Freedom of Information Act request? And apparently the documentation he received had no identifiable information in there. Okay, so you could request this. Oh, there was an incident that happened in 2014, and another incident happened in 2018, according to Sharp. Right now, he said he contacted them. And he was told that there was no identifiable information in there, and so that means if there was no identifiable information in there that would say that it's David Grush, then how did Klippenstein know that it was David Grush? That's because somebody in the government told him that's if you find these incidents on these certain dates, right, in certain years, that's David Grush. Now, the only way he would have known that is if somebody on the inside told him that. But were they supposed to? I don't know. I'm not an attorney. All I'm saying is it could actually be a HIPAA violation. That was all I was suggesting. It doesn't make me right, and I made that clear. I just don't know. I mean, if I had some sort of a medical issue that happened 10 years ago, and the police had to be called to assist, and there was a report on it, and they didn't have my name in it, but then some years later, some reporters trying to dig up dirt on me, and somebody tells him about this, and it's told by say a former employer that's not supposed to share those that kind of information, and then he's able to that reporter's able to put two and two together because he gets the report, and he's told by an insider of a place I used to work at, yeah, this was him, this was Jim Quirk. Well, to me, that could possibly be a HIPAA violation. That's what I was pointing out, and that's totally different with whistleblowers. In fact, you know what I say to that? Hey, if these whistleblowers, if these people who want to shut the whistleblowers up, right? If they want to do something about it, well, come out and forward, come out into the sunlight, come on out, show yourself. Totally different kind of situation. But anyway, getting back to this, what I was saying about the source, about maybe somehow, possibly in the future, Klippenstein being asked by a judge to tell me who your sources were. That was just in the event that this information was provided illegally. If in the event that it possibly could be a HIPAA violation. I don't know that for sure. It could be. I'm just saying, I pointed out too, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. But again, that's two totally different kinds of scenarios. Two totally different kind of scenarios. Yeah, if like someone like Michael Schellenberger, say somebody wants to have him reveal his sources, let that someone who wants him to reveal his sources step up and show your face. I dare you. Come on, show yourself. Show yourself. Because they wouldn't do that because that ends their whole cover-up game. If they come up, if somebody came up and said, "Hey, see, Michael Schellenberger's learned some information from some insider that he shouldn't have learned about," and that insider, whoever this person is that told him, this whistleblower, he needs to be exposed, he needs to be sued, or needs to be brought to justice. Okay, brought to justice, but I thought you said that this is all fake and false and phony. So they're not going to do it. Anyway, so that's how I see it. Again, the whole point of what I'm trying to say here is that these people are wrong. These people, like, for one thing, it's not a matter of, I don't believe in this. Well, okay, you don't believe in it. That doesn't make that, but it's still true. I'm sorry that you can't believe in it. Just like there are still people today, believe it or not, I bring this up sometimes, who say the earth is flat. Now, we all know that's not true. Most of us do, like probably 99%, but there's a percentage out there that are running around still saying that the world is flat. Now, they don't believe the world is round. Well, sorry, but it is. It is. I don't care what you believe, right? You're wrong. You're wrong. And Ken Klippenstein is wrong. All these debunkers, they're wrong. All these people that are speaking out against this, the naysayers, the skeptics, right? They're totally, absolutely wrong. Again, people like me, we're in a position where we're holding a royal flush. We're going to win this game, if it is a game. If you want to call this a game, we're going to win. They're going to lose. They're losing. They are losing. They already lost as far as I'm concerned. The game's already over. Because at some point, there's going to be, the mask is going to come off, and we're going to know one way or the other. And I know what that way is going to be, because I know that they're here. I've seen it with my own eyes. I know for a fact. Anyway, moving on, there's some more information coming out of Peru. There's a big article in the Daily Mail published on August 12th. And they're saying that, we talked about this in the previous podcast, saying that these people in Peru, this tribe, that these flying 7-foot-tall aliens there's authorities down there who are claiming that it was gold miners, a gold mining gang with jetpacks. Again, the story, there's some more information here than I had last time when I was talking about this, but let's go through some of this and we'll discuss. It says, reports of 7-foot-tall aliens terrorizing villagers in Peru stunned the world this week, with local leaders describing the armored and floating menaces as impervious to bullets. The locals also compared their attackers to green goblins and local Peruvian superstitions about Los Pelacaras, the face peelers. But now Peruvian law enforcement has offered a new suspect. Illegal gold mining crime syndicates they said, are to blame. Branches of the storied drug cartels like Brazil's O Primeiro Comando de Capital, Colombia's Clan del Golfo, FARC, and others who have ravaged Latin America for decades. Peru's National Prosecutor's Office, which is now investigating the, quote, alien attacks, end quote, has pointed the finger at these gold mafias who have been partially ejected from Brazil and Colombia by their militaries. Okay, they might be blaming these drug cartels, gold mining cartels, and whatever they are, a mixture of things. But it's still, I don't see any evidence here, but they do provide some. There's a picture here I want to talk about. It says, now in Peru, these jet-pack flying gold cartels hope to inspire fear with their bizarre campaign of alien terror, according to prosecutors, keeping the locals in their homes and away from the cartel's illegal gold pits. So that's what the whole thing is about, according to the authorities there, is that now this kind of activity might be happening there. I mean, I don't know, but I'm not sure. It doesn't seem to jibe completely with what the villagers are saying they saw. You know, again, if they're getting shot at and then they just disappear, these beings, that doesn't make sense. If they have jetpacks on, like I talked about before, they would explode if they got shot. I mean, they're filled with jet fuel. I'll tell you, that's a lot of money to invest in some sort of a program to scare away the villagers. Jetpacks. I mean, what are you talking? $90,000 each, or $100,000? I mean, how much do you think they cost? I mean, it definitely six figures. Anyway, continuing here. Prosecutors suspect that these illegal mining cartels first used their jetpacks to prospect for gold deeper into the unforgiving jungles surrounding Peru's Nane River. Then they have some pictures here, and I'm not going to read this whole article, but they have a picture of a little girl. And under it, she's holding up a cell phone, and on the cell phone, there's a picture. And it says here, Peruvian government's prosecutors investigating the case believe that criminal gold cartels began using jetpacks to prospect for gold deeper into the Alto Nana jungle. Above, a local teen shows an image of the jetpacks she and others witnessed during the flying alien attacks. Okay, now the problem with the picture that's on the cell phone, okay, the problem is that it came from someplace else. It came from. In fact, somebody talked about this on Twitter. It says regarding the Peru aliens. This is somebody named Azzy at Astromeyer. It says regarding the Peru images. Here is the exact photo that the news report is making it look like the local took a photo of. Turns out to be a French pilot / stuntman named Frankie Zapata traveling the English Channel on a stunt in 2019. And there's a link, and I click on the link, and it's the same picture. It's a picture that was taken in 2019 in a whole totally different place of some guy doing a stunt over the English Channel. It's the same exact picture. So they say, what are they trying to say here? I mean, I'm not sure what the article is it trying to say that, oh no, this is just what she's describing something that she saw. Is this the description, or is she saying, no, this is the person I saw? But whatever the case, it's a little bit disingenuous, to say the least, to present it like this. This whole thing sounds to me, it sounds like something out of a 1960s James Bond movie, when they had the old, remember the Spectre organization always going after Sean Connery, and trying to take over the world. They always have that scene where number one, who turns out later on in the movies to be Ernst Stavro Blofeld, sitting at the head of a conference table, and he's talking with all his other goons, and they all have numbers for names, right? Number 8, number 9, and you can see Blofeld will ask a question like, how's Plan A proceeding, number 11? And number 11 is, we have successfully hijacked 2 NATO nuclear missiles, and we're holding the world ransom right now for $100 billion. And then he goes on to the next board member, number 7. Please provide an update for your activities in South America. And yes, number 1, we delivered a team to the Peruvian jungle to scare away a local tribe there in order to expand the illegal gold mining activities. We equipped the team with bulletproof body armor, jetpacks, and Green Goblin masks, and had them pretend they were extraterrestrials. Unfortunately, local law enforcement caught wind of the scheme and forced us to pull out. And then, of course, number 1, Ernst Stavro Blofeld, doesn't like this and would probably say something like, your inefficiency in these delicate matters is something Spectre cannot tolerate. and then he'd press a button and the guy would get electrocuted in his seat. I mean, that's what it seems like to me anyway, you know. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, it sounds the whole story of these gold miners using this high-tech equipment, jetpacks and body armor, and but again, that's not what's being described by these people. It's not what's being described. But anyway, that whole story with, you know, that's what it might be. That sounds more ridiculous to me than extraterrestrials. I don't get it. I don't get it. It says here, members of Peru's small Quito population are surrounded by dense jungle in rural Alto Nane, where gold has deposited itself like silt into the riverbeds along the Nane River tributaries that flow into the Amazon. Well, see, that makes sense, you know. So I could understand. I mean, I wouldn't doubt that there's gold miner criminals down there. There's a criminal enterprise trying to steal this gold, get the gold out of there illegally, and it makes sense that they could be doing something like this. But again, it's not jibing with what's been described. It says here, the Iquitu told reporters that this summer's alien siege began on July 11th, with locals facing vicious attacks by flying 7-foot-tall mysterious beings in dark-colored hoods ever since. These gentlemen are aliens, one Iquitu leader, Jaro Retegu Evilia, told a local broadcaster radio programa del Peru. I have shot him twice, and he does not fall, but rises and disappears. This is what this leader said. We are frightened by what is happening in the community. Then it says here, another key witness for prosecutors, a school teacher, reported seeing these eerie beings rise off the ground via much more terrestrial means. The illegal mining cartel was using propellers and high-tech equipment, according to this teacher, Kristen Caleb Pacaya, and other prosecution witnesses. Peruvian law enforcement have described the devices as jetpacks. They would be using state-of-the-art technology, such as thrusters that allow people to fly. Carlos Castro Quintanilla, the Peruvian government's prosecutor investigating the case, told RPP. Pacaya, who works in the nearby San Antonio de Pinatoyuca community, told news outlet RPP that he witnessed the illegal miners attempt to kidnap the 15-year-old girl on July 29th. The teenager reportedly sustained cuts to her neck and other injuries during the attempted kidnapping and is now being treated locally. Quintanilla, Lorento's specialized prosecutor for environmental matters, told RPP that these mafias operate their gold extraction enterprise out of towns in Laredo, the northmost region of Peru. Quintanilla said that 80% of these illegal gold mining operations are located in the Nane River Basin, a territory northwest of Laredo's capital and home to it, the Iquitu. I'm just going to stop here with the story. I'll leave the link here so you can check it out for yourself. I just don't know what to believe here at this point. I mean, again, that's not what they're reporting. That's not what they're reporting. They're not saying there weren't. How could they be jetpacks if the what was ever causing them to levitate was located on their shoes, like round discs on their shoes, according to the reports from some of these tribe members. And it says here. One of the leaders said, the Iquitu leader, Avila, said, they seemed armored like the Green Goblin from Spider-Man, okay? They seemed armored like the Green Goblin from Spider-Man. Avila went on to describe the attackers' shoes as round in shape. With that, they rise up. They float 1 meter high and have a red light on the heel. His head is long, his mask is long, and his eyes are half yellowish. With that, they see you well and they leave. So they're disappearing. They're able to see very well in the dark. I mean, could it be some sort of Spectre type operation like out of a James Bond movie? Maybe. It sounds fantastic, but maybe. But it could also be extraterrestrials, and there's nothing wrong. It could be one or the other. That's why. See, I guess the whole point of this is what I'm bringing this up for is that it could be extraterrestrials. It's not crazy. That's not a crazy hypothesis. It's not. That's not crazy because they're here again. Like I was talking about earlier. I know for a fact they're here, and not all these debunkers and naysayers and people in the government are just lying. But all these people who don't believe it—that's their problem. That's unfortunate for them. But they're just like they are no different than flat earthers. There could be some kind of like again could be a Spectre operation out of a James Bond movie, and some guy behind the scene like a Ernst Stavro Blofeld is pulling the strings. Could be. I don't know. If that's what they think, if that's what they want to say, that's what the Peruvian authorities are saying, basically telling us. That's what it sounds like to me. But anyway, here's some more comments from this Aliva. They are experts at escaping, he said. Besides the 7-foot-tall attackers theory, some locals referred to the groups as Los Pelicaros after the alleged organ traffickers known in the region, a winking reference to the face-peeling monsters of local legend. But anyway, I'll leave the whole article here so you can check it out for yourself. But again, I don't think, it could be extraterrestrial, could be gold miners. I think we need more information. There's just not enough information out there on this one at this point. For us to really know. I mean, if they're going to show, if evidence is a little girl standing there with a picture on a cell phone of a French stuntman flying around with a jetpack on his back in 2019, if that's your proof, that's not proof at all. That sounds more like you're trying to trick people. Because, I mean, people look at that, oh, she took a picture of the guy flying around. That's obviously a guy with a jetpack on. But as people have pointed out online, no, this was taken back in 2019 over the English Channel with some French guy trying to do a stunt. So that means, I know people out there are dumb. So there's a lot of people out there who will look at that, especially people who don't believe in this phenomenon, right? Who like the Ken Klippensteins of the world, who they don't believe in it, even though it is true. They'll look at that and then move on with their lives because that they don't accept it, even though it's real. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Until next time.